HBO has released the penultimate episode of their Batman spin-off The Penguin, and it was probably the darkest episode of the series so far. I mean, the episode begins with a young Oz leaving his brothers trapped inside of an overflowing sewer tunnel just because he thought they were picking on him. And since he was resentful of the attention that his mother gave to them, he just allowed them to drown. That's some pretty dark shit, especially considering that Oz has no issue with setting up his drug dealing operation in the same space where he left his brothers to die. I have no idea how Oz has no remorse for his actions, because I feel bad just thinking about it. But he did get what he wanted. He grew up having his mother all to himself. Sure, the incident drove her crazy and pushed her to place way too much pressure on Oz as just a little boy, but at least he got what he wanted. Also, before I move on, I have to give kudos to the actor who portrayed the young version of Oz, because he gave an absolutely great performance as the character. And Deirdre O'Connell also does a fantastic job of playing Oz's mother, Frances. Even though she was just kidnapped by the head of the mafia, she had the balls to stand up to the mob boss and talk to her like she's got nothing to lose. I mean, she was holding her own against Sofia fucking Gigante after she recently killed her entire fucking family. So I absolutely loved watching these two characters interacting, especially since Frances showed no fear whatsoever. That is, until her illness kicked in and she forgot where she was, which was an absolutely heartbreaking scene to watch. Not only for me as an audience member, but for Sofia as the villain as well. You can see Sofia toggle between many different emotions in this scene, and it has to make you wonder what she's going to do next. Because while she does really want to hurt Oz himself, we don't really know what she feels about Frances and her condition. I mean, how can she possibly justify hurting a sick and innocent old woman? Wouldn't that make her no better than her own father? Well, that's exactly what Sofia grapples with in this episode, especially after she goes to see her niece, Gia. Because she sees that by giving in to her worst impulses, she became the very thing she swore to destroy. And now Gia will grow up to despise Sofia in the same way that Sofia despised her own father. She basically perpetuated the cycle of violence within her own family. So what does she do after having a long and hard look in the mirror? She sends a bomb to destroy Oz's base and successfully manages to kill his entire crew. Yeah, Sofia's reign of violence isn't over just yet, but Oz does manage to get a leg up over Sofia when Salvatore Maroni died of a heart attack while he was fighting. And while I was surprised to see that Sal died rather unceremoniously, especially since I think the show could have done a bit more with his character, this was the penultimate episode after all, so somebody had to die, I guess. And I'm glad to see that somebody wasn't Vic or Frances, though I'm still not convinced that either character is going to make it out of this series alive. But I guess we'll see what the final episode of The Penguin will actually have in store for us once it gets released later on this evening.